Hey guys, this is Al from Altruistic Channel. So actually today I was going to try something new. Um, all things considered, as some of you may know if you've been watching my channel a little bit, my life's been kind of thrown upside down to some degree, which couldn't be a bigger blessing. And so I'm going to leave it at that as far as the backstory necessarily of it. But as I was going through the upheaval of the realignment by God, if you will, or Allah, or whoever you believe in, I stumbled across a truth, which is we spend so much time looking for ways of getting things for almost nothing, or we are so blinded by something having to look some way in order for us to understand that it's actually a blessing and not something negative. Because it didn't come in the way that we wanted, we can rarely see beyond the fact that it didn't materialize in the way that we expected. And so sometimes we just stop ourselves by never even trying. There are gifts handed to us by God or whoever you believe in that we just ignore. And so, as many of you know, if you follow the last 3 videos or so of the past week or so of my life, where everything's gone to shit and it just looks like I'm going to hell, and it's just like one thing after the other, and just betrayal and losing everybody I ever cared about, and then losing my home and now being homeless and living day by day with no money and stuff like that. One would think that I was handed a death sentence or that I was being persecuted or somehow a victim. But it dawned on me today that I'm the complete opposite. You see, about 8 months ago, I said something into the universe out loud, and it was very clear. I said, I really have this vision of working as one of God's chosen to go around the country interviewing people who, like me, have never gotten ahead, have always been put upon, have either been, any number of horrible things that happen to human beings. Rape, incest, all of that stuff. Trying to rise above the most impossible things to rise above. Cults, gluing their teeth in order to get by, never having the money, always being passed over for promotions, never getting to be the prom queen, all of that stuff. Even though people are more deserving at times, it just seems like you always had a black cloud. And so I wanted to do a docu-series essentially where I went ahead and I traveled the country, either by sponsorship. Specifically, there's someone in my life that I have like an idea of that they are meant to be in my life, and they know who they are. I apparently have met this person, and we somehow have interacted. But I don't know necessarily who it is. I just know that it's a kind of like a signature or an energy signature, and that this person and I and maybe like a small film crew, like 1 or 2 people, would travel the country, going from person to person that fits this criteria, and talk to them about their ability to persevere the impossible. Because here I am. I mean, I'm literally like I'm not gaining anything by posting this other than just I'm letting go of the ego and I'm taking the leap of faith that God wants me to do. And it was in finding the fact that I was granted an opportunity and not a bad thing. It looked like it was such a horrible thing happening to me. Oh, I lost my home. I can't find a job, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not meant to. This is my job. My job is to find these people and talk to them and engage them in a way that the world can watch. And it's not our business whether or not people catch on to it early, or if they see it, or if they see the opportunity, or if they see the blessing in it. Not my business. I'm just supposed to take the leap of faith, and it's like a graduation. I'm facing my graduation from a state of overcoming all of what is appearing to be around me and seeing the blessing that isn't within the lesson. And so for me, it's about taking this leap of faith. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the hint. God wants me in this state, and I firmly believe that no one can shake that out of my system. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't have any money for anything. I can't survive. Sorry, lift the camera. I can't survive it. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. All of the things that we put in our minds that we can't overcome. But because I've had a lifetime of one thing after the other, and if you want to see my story, go back and look at the past 3 videos. There's an arc there. And I didn't realize that what I was doing is that God was leveling any type of resistance that I could ever have to my past, which is to get these people together and talk about their stories, because they are about to get a surge of positive karmic abundance that's about to hit them, and I get to interview them and I get to talk to them, and I want to get them like right as it's happening, and I want to kind of engage it so the world can see that we are not being judged. It is not judgment time. The world is not going to hell in a basket. It's being initiated into a sacred place, and we're all going together. But you got to be willing to, one, state out loud above anything else, no matter what you've been through, and as tired as we are, and how much I want to give up, that I'm going to make it, and we're going to get through it. because you feel the energy surging through you. There's something amazing on top of you, and you can feel it, but you can't see it yet. And you don't know exactly how it's going to materialize, but you know it's here. And so I want to kind of go around the country and interview those people. And what I was thinking of originally doing was getting like a sponsorship or someone with vision that had a little bit of financial ability to help back it, so that we had enough just to cover food and just enough to cover the place to sleep, and then engagements along the way. I would put in my 2 cents, by not just interviewing and not just my idea, but that I would speak to people who wanted me to engage them in what the vision looks like and what it is to be someone who is a above a survivor. A survivor can never do anything but tread water, because they're literally putting to the universe that all they do is survive. I'm above that. I'm not a survivor. I'm a thriver. I'm somebody who sees an opportunity through an obstacle. An obstacle is just an opportunity. I'm from New Orleans, so for us it's Mardi Gras. It's like someone's dressed up with a mask. That's all that is. And so I see this thing that's happening to the world, and so I started to really think about whether or not I was willing to put my name and my face out there. And so God took everything away, and I had an opportunity, or I had the disadvantage of looking at it like I was being cursed, or once again having to survive something. But that's not what happened. What he did is he gave me a ticket to eat it. He gave me a ticket to making humanity rise in a way, because what is happening, it's a resurrection. It's giving me the opportunity to show the world that just because you have stuff happening to you doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It may seem like it, but in truth, it's not. And now that I'm on this side of it and everything's kind of been leveled, and I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, and I have no food, no anything. I don't even know where I'm going to stay tomorrow. And even the one night I have like a break to actually go to the parades and try to enjoy life even a little bit during all this chaos, they canceled it. So I'm literally facing it as like going into this with complete blind's eye, and I couldn't be happier. And it's not being crazy or being demented or delusional. It's that I see through the veils of reality, and it is me getting exactly what I wanted. He just gave me the power to do it, and he did it in a way where I couldn't refuse it. There's no ego here. He leveled that. There's no home to stay to or to cling to. It's gone. And so I have this opportunity to travel around the country or the world and engage these amazing humanitarians to be, or these people who have overcome things that most of us could never overcome. And I get to do it in front of the camera, if you will, and kind of syndicate it, if you will, on a channel that really has never gotten its attention. I've been doing this for what, 2 or 3 years now, and it's never gotten that many subscribers. I'm pretty sure that my life is about to turn around so quickly I can't even tell you. But it takes the fact that I had to look through the veil at what the opportunities were. There is about to be an abundance in this world that you've never seen before, a love that's never been seen before, good luck that's never been seen before. But these people have paid the dues. These are the people that you would quantify as a semblance of the Christ consciousness, in the sense that they have paid for the sins of humanity and they've been doing it lifelong. And now they're at a state now where they have a choice to make. They're at the very end here. And they're about to graduate with me and us. And what it is that we're going to have to say aloud what I did today, which is why I'm so happy, is I decided to say, fuck it. I'm not dying this way. I'm not going to let this beat me. We're going forward, and we're going to do it together. And so as I make my way through the country, that's what the intention is. And so I realized that because I had made that comment, that the opportunity is exactly that. So I'm coming to you now as this. I'm looking for a partner or someone who's actually willing to come along with me and help us kind of put this out there on film. It can be a documentary series or a crew of people, like maybe 2 people, one camera, one person. One of them could be the love of my life. I have no idea. It's all open, and it's an abundance that I see. And I'm hoping that at least one of you see it. And then I'm also looking for reporters or people. I'm just going to put this on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Facebook. I'm not going to put this out anywhere else because I don't need to. The divine says I just put it into the universe and let it take it from there. But it's going to be something very interesting because it's a semblance of lifting humanity up above and making them see the world from a different lens. And it's going to take people who have actually lived it to do it. And so I'm looking for those people to talk to in interviews who's willing to actually say it on camera and share their stories, because they're just willing to let go. They're ready to let go of all the bullshit and the drama, and they just see that there's something so amazing in front of them. And I guarantee you, these people that decide to do this, when they let go of the ego and let me talk to them, and let's engage them, the world is going to open up to them in a way they can't even imagine, because they're letting go of all the bullshit that does not matter. The idiot, or sorry, the people in the White House or the people in politics don't matter. They don't ever actually have any power. At the end of the day, we give them power by putting up with their bullshit. They don't do anything for our lives. They're just there kind of like Muppets on little strings. They don't do anything. And then, like, even though that's controversial, but in truth, we look at it. Like, they don't affect our lives by any way, shape, or form. It's when the collective, the group of humanity, decides that it actually is a thing, that it becomes a thing. And so, there's all of this wonderful world around us that we're so bogged down with this, like, facade and this veil of bullshit that doesn't matter, that we're rising above that, and we're coming out of what they call the marshlands, which is what Earth is called. Spiritually, it's called the marshlands because it takes a specific type of creation, a specific type of energy that is willing to come down and physically endure what we endure in order to rise above it. And so this is a time of resurrection, if you will. And so I get to interview the people who are going to be leading the edge of this, and the abundance that's coming to them is going to be amazing. And I want them to grasp it, because the only way to gain it is to look forward to the destruction of it. You kind of have to go against yourself and kind of look a little batshit crazy to a lot of people. But only you and you alone know that this is your time. You feel the energy and the surge. And then I'm looking for like reporters who want to cover it for no other reason than they're tired of covering the corruption and the bullshit that doesn't matter. They want to cover things that actually uplift people, and they want to cover things that are actually about topics that we need to do. They want to cover topics like if they're going to do something controversial, let's align ourselves with God and go find those assholes, the priests who are being moved around the world, who've molested children, and let's expose them against the church's will and get them out of fucking from preying on innocent children. These are like barracudas and snakes that are poisonous in our society. We're just kind of letting them go. Or if you want something to do, it's dropping to below, like it's like almost freezing everywhere in our country in America, and there are homeless people everywhere that could freeze to death. And before we even get to that, what about all the food, the tons and tons of food, millions of tons of food that gets thrown away weekly from all the hotels nationwide who put something out on the buffets that no one ever touches, but because there might have been some contamination with meat or with fish somewhere, they toss all of the bread, all of the desserts, all of the other stuff that has nothing to do with anything, and they throw it away. You could feed the planet with that shit. That's who we want. We want pioneers. We want people with vision. We want people who are willing to make Earth Eden. Let go of the Adam and Eve bullshit, okay? Let's rewrite that story. Let's align ourselves with God. Let's do all that fun stuff. Because in the face of complete annihilation, I can tell you, there's no other option but to see the beauty. And the beauty is this. Those of us that are going through this right now, the tail end of this, I call him Uncle Mercury. If you're into astrology, it's just Mercury retrograde. Oh my God, oh no. You want to know how I overpowered it? And I mean overpowered. I called him Uncle Mercury. I literally was like, you need to knock this shit off. And if you see the last little thing that I posted on Facebook, you'll see it was not a good day. My life has not been exactly ideal. But that's what makes me an emperor. That's what makes me the next president. That's what makes me the next whatever it is. It's not like a entitlement like where I'm egoish. I've earned everything that is about to happen in my life. There's not one person on this planet that can say I can't, I didn't. And it's an empowering place, but there's a humility to me in the sense that I'm not doing this for free. I'm going to put my side of it in my reciprocity by actually trying as much as possible to flip my own bill and to work with partnerships and people who see the vision, who are willing to get us to these people and no charge to them, and just help them share the story and just help them let it go and help give them a perspective switch that only I can see at this time. And as we get to each of these people, it's going to switch them on to where they are able to do it. And suddenly we have a world that's moving and leaders all around the world that can take over media, take over all this other stuff. And it starts with the simplest of things. Do you see a vision? Do you see this as judgment, or are you facing initiation? Are you being tested, or are you being trained? Are you God's people, or are you God's children? Because if you want to be God's child as opposed to just being chosen, you become chosen because you're one of His children, and you understand the level of honesty that requires. Because you're going to have to go up against Him at some point just to live your honest life. If you can't do that, and if you're one of those people that just lets people walk over you and that you believe the Bible is 100% always true, you can't succeed because the Bible doesn't always make sense. You see what I'm saying? There are certain questions that pop up, and instead of just blind-eyeing it, ask the question. I'm not saying don't believe in it. Just you never ask the question. How can devil, and it's controversial, but how can the devil be all that bad if he has a lateral position to God, heaven, hell? They're side by side. They're not, one's not up. That's just physical. And so ask yourself, why on earth would God give anybody power at that level? Never would. And he's created everything. So where is that blocking you? Where is that? So it's stuff like that. It's just ways of looking at the world that empowers everybody. You cannot have light without dark. You cannot have male without female. And enough with this females being secondary or being inferior. Females are equal to men in every shape, way, or form. Let's stop with the bullshit. Let's rise above. But in order to do that, people are going to have to share the story, and they're going to be what I call the rising powers, right? Like these are people who are like turning all of their life that's been shit into nothing but empowerment and the ideal versions of themselves. And so I'm looking for people who want to help that vision get off the ground. It's a God vision. It's not really all mine. But when the light bulb went off, ding, it became very clear to me that that's what this was all about. So I'm putting my life on the line. I'm doing this because, frankly, it was my vision. I opened my big mouth 7 months ago. I even sent this to Oprah, like as an idea. And so it's not like I didn't put this all into motion. And that's one of the tricks about life is that when you say things to the universe, it's not that you have to be careful how you phrase it or you're going to get negative. It's that sometimes they take it literally. And literally, in this case, he literally was like, okay, you want to go? You want to travel the world? Okay. No home. Go. Because he knew I couldn't do it. There's no way to be egoish and make this to put this out there. People are going to talk shit like crazy, and they're going to make fun of me and all this stuff until it succeeds. And then when it succeeds, and I'm at the top, or we're at the top, whoever's a part of this, they're going to be looking at us like we got handed something, that we got lucky. No, motherfucker. This is called a lifelong of learning. This is what it's like to actually become a leader. It's what it's like to earn your stripes. It's about redemption, and it's about the fact that we are able to see through the facade that you can't see through yet. But these people that I want to talk to, and that I want to want to get partners or some sort of phone clue or whatever, is going to help me get through this and help foot the bill. I mean, it's not that expensive. The production value is super cheap. It's going to be just food, lodging. I eat personally twice a day, if that, once most of the time. I just need a motel. I don't need it to be a fucking hotel, and I just need to be able to talk to these people and spend the day there. If at best, I'll even put in extra. I want to go ahead and like do speak engagements and help that flip the bill, where I go and I talk to communities or to leaders who want me to talk to children, or well, not children, but like teenagers who are facing these type of controversial topics, and not engage the controversy, but engage the empowerment behind it, and to talk about it in a way that's logical, that is actually spiritual. It's a new way of thinking, but it's not something unheard of. It's called leadership. It's called love. It's called everything that you and I believe in. I was asked what my biggest dreams were, and I was supposed to put it down. Like this is what God tasked me with. And at the top of my list is I'm dying to go to Endymion Ball, and that's I think in 2 days here in New Orleans. And I have no money, no home, no place to really lay my head tomorrow. So much less get to that. I have no tuxedo for the event, and I was like, oh, I really want to do this. And then I was like, but nobody else has that dream, and how is that going to happen? And I realized it was Pisces season, and that's all about vision, and it's about dreaming, and it's about the impossible. So the reason I'm putting it out there is because not even a minute ago, before I walked in here to tape this, I ran into a girl who works here at the motel that I luckily got for tonight, because again, suffering a little bit, or at least it looks like it. And her biggest dream of all the dreams happens to be to go Endymion. So I was like, oh, at least I found my date. And I thought that was really funny. But in life, when you're on your path, these things, synchronicity starts to build. And so I'm not kidding. If I get to go, that's my girlfriend. That's the one who's going with me. She's, I'm gay and I have my own plan, but that's my date. And so it just was a wonderful, and it was like almost like God giving me a kiss to some degree, like just being like, yeah, that's my boy. And it's that level of frivolity and love that I'm seeking to show the world. And it comes from absolute devastation. You cannot restore perfection, which cannot be, because perfection implies that something is better than everything else. Otherwise, it can't be perfect, right? One thing has to be inferior for someone to be perfect or for something to be perfect. It means that everything else fails. That's not what I'm about, and not what we're about. I don't think God's about that either. But the point is, how synchronicity was that? That was pretty badass, right? And so the second thing, and I'm just sharing my dreams because it's like in the impossible season, I'm trying to get people to engage the impossible. And those of you who I'm going to be talking to, it's going to be one of the first questions I ask you, is to get my teeth fixed. Just because, if I'm ascending, meaning rising above it all and trying to help God and stuff, I need to do it with all my bits and pieces. And so, since I have everything else, my teeth need a little work. And last but not least is I want to build academies, schools, that reinvent the way that we do education. It's going to be like we're specialized school sets with skill sets for specific people. If you are all spatial intelligence and you don't really have a super high IQ, that doesn't mean you can't work for NASA. In fact, you could be making millions of dollars working for NASA by just getting better education formed around spatial intelligence, meaning you can look at a map, memorize it, and then not have to look at it again and understand the dimensions. That's brilliance incarnate. But we're so busy saying, no, he doesn't have a 130 IQ. He's not good. NASA. NASA. Okay, you see what I'm saying? And so there's schools and academies. There should be an academy somewhere that I'm going to be hopefully the first one to build with God, and it's going to be an academy just for gifted, meaning over 130 IQ, and then anyone who's autistic. Those two are specific, and they go together, and they need to be trained together by specialized teachers, and not put into a category that they don't fit in, because these are not handicapped people. These are very gifted people. But this country thinks the gifted are people that don't deserve anything better because they're already smart, or they're just artistic. Because you're looking down at them. These are not these are still human beings that need special attention because they have extra skill sets that we're not utilizing. And then I want to build a college. I want to build a couple of them, at least 3 of them. I have vision, but it's God's vision to some degree. And then there's my vision. So I put in the smaller stuff so you can see the bigger stuff. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be part of a group that rises to some sort of important role in this world. And you can see it in my eyes, and you can see it in the level of destruction and how I've been leveled to be rebuilt again. And I'm totally in control of it. And it's everything that I said in the past 7 months. So careful what you say. But the moral of the story is I'm looking for people who want to help get this going. Because at the end of the day, if this speaks to you, it is you. It is you helping humanity see the value of themselves unconditionally. Taking the fact that they are faulty and flawed and have made mistakes and helping them get over it. And helping them see that it could be worse. And the people who have had it worse, not one of us are complaining. Not one of us are not able to smile or laugh about it. In fact, most of us think that other people have it worse than we do, but they don't. It's humility, integrity, it's honesty. It's all 3 of the big ones that you show up with. And that's who I want to speak to. So I'm looking for people who are willing to help me do this. Reporters who want to cover it. That will help us get the business people that will be involved in it. If you're a business owner and you're looking for a charity or something, this is not a charity. This is a project for humanity. We're going to help. And you have an opportunity to be part of it. We're building Eden on top of Earth. We're converting this whole victimization mentality into something rewarding and uplifting for all. No one's a waste of time. No one's stupid. No one's anything less or better than anyone else. So let's start treating everybody as equals. And the only way to do that is to show them what that looks like. So I'm looking for you if you're interested. I'm including my email address, my direct email address, and I'm going to be going through it through the course of tomorrow because I don't know where I'm going to be homeless tomorrow, so I'm sure I'll have time. See, everything is a blessing if you look at it in the right way. So I'll have plenty of time. But I'll be looking through it all day and all night. So please, if you're interested, even if you can't help me, do me a favor. The entire country right now in America is freezing to death. There are food banks. There are all sorts of things that I already covered. But what about other topics like you want to help the world? Get behind the whole church molestation relocation program thing. We are literally saying it's okay. And this is where reporters come in too. That's why I love reporters. I'm looking for journalists too for this. Find these assholes who are raping children and then being relocated under church protection because God is pissed. And it's in His name that they're doing it too. And that's not okay. That is not okay to ever take anyone's innocence. Somehow we've all been turning a blind eye. You want this, Eden? Help me do that. Help us collectively get in front of this and be like, no, no, no. You are a child molester. You're going to jail. Or worse. But you're going. You're not going to get relocated. And you see what I'm saying? Get the passion in the right places. And align yourself with what you should be doing. And then I guarantee you this will all work out. Anyway, that's it for Alan Altruistic Channel. I know this is a weird type of video. But I believe in America, I believe in humanity, and I believe the fact that we can lift ourselves up because God's reaching down to help us. We just got to reach up and help Him. So this is going to be some reciprocity going on here, and I'm willing to bet that at least a couple of you are going to see the vision in this and are going to help me out. I have no choice in it. I've already signed up for this like an idiot. I said too much. And now that I'm here, I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm looking for people who are willing to be grateful for what they've learned because you're leading this wave of pioneering and revolution. Anyway, that's it for me. Bye.